abortion be punished?
Well, people in certain parts of the Republican Party and conservative Republicans would say yes, they should be punished.
How about you?
I would say that it's a very serious problem, and it's a problem that we have to decide on. It's very hard.
But you're for banning it. Are you going
to say, well, wait, are you going to say put them in jail? Is that
well,
the
no, what I'm asking you, because you say you want to ban it. What's that mean?
I am pro-life, yes.
What is ban? How do you ban abortion? How do you actually do it?
Well, you know, you'll go back to a position like they had, where people will perhaps go to illegal places.
Yeah.
But you have to ban it.
You ban it and they go to somebody who flunked out of medical school.
Are you Catholic?
Yes, I think
And how do you feel about the Catholic Church's position?
I accept the teaching authority of my church on moral issues.
But do you know their position on abortion?
Yes, I do.
And do you concur with that position?
I concur with their moral position, but legally I get to the question. Here's my problem with it.
No, but let me ask you, but what do you say about
it's not funny.
Your church? Yeah, it's really not a funny thing. What do you say about your church? They're very, very strong.
They're allowed to, but the churches make their moral judgments, but you running for president of the United States will be chief executive of the United States. Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
10 cents, 10 years,
I don't know. That I don't know.
For a second round, but while we were speaking today, Donald Trump made some remarks that you have had a strong reaction to, and I just wanted to get your take on this. Mr. Trump told Chris Matthews today that abortion must be banned in this country, that he thinks women will go back to illegal places to get abortions once it is banned. He said, quote, there has to be some form of punishment for a woman seeking an abortion, and then he said he hasn't yet determined what the appropriate punishment should be. And you said on Twitter about that, just when you thought it couldn't get worse. Horrific and telling. What do you mean by that?
Well, what Donald Trump said today was outrageous and dangerous. And, you know, I'm constantly just taken aback at the kinds of things that he advocates for. You know, Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And once again, he has showed us who he is. The idea that he and all the Republicans espouse that abortion should be illegal is one that is not embraced by the vast majority of Americans in our country. And in fact, as he pointed out, if it were illegal, then women and doctors would be criminals. And this is just beyond any position taken by someone running for president in a serious way in a very long time. And I think not only women, but men, all Americans need to understand that this kind of inflammatory, destructive rhetoric is, you know, really on the outer edges of what is permitted under our Constitution, what we believe in, and people should reject it. And women in particular must know that this right, which we have guaranteed to us under the Constitution, could be taken away. And that's why the stakes in this election couldn't be higher.
He sort of walked this comment back a few hours after he made it and said that if abortion were illegal, it should be doctors who performed abortions and not women who should be punished for this. That was a change from several hours earlier in the day. Do you find that any more acceptable?
No, absolutely not. I mean, he would make both women and doctors criminals. And, you know, under Roe v. Wade, there is a right, a constitutional right, for women to exercise our own autonomy and decision-making over the most serious and personal health care decisions. And this is an issue that we have been arguing over for many years now. But even other candidates on the Republican side who've run for office haven't gone as far as Donald Trump has in recent years. And what he said today is just among the most outrageous and dangerous statements that I've heard anybody running for president say in a really long time.
Let me just ask you one last thing about this. I spoke with your Democratic opponent, Bernie Sanders, after this happened, and he was critical of Mr. Trump's remark, but then he also said that this is basically another Donald Trump stupid remark. That the media will cover ad nauseum, as opposed to something like his position on the minimum wage or taxes or climate change that might be more deserving of extended attention. Do you think this was just another Donald Trump stupid comment and that the media might be making too much of this?
No, absolutely not. You know, I've been on the front lines of the fight to preserve a woman's choice and ability to make these difficult decisions. That's why I was endorsed by the Planned Parenthood Action Fund, why I was endorsed by NARAL, because I've been a leader in trying to make sure that our rights as women were not in any way eroded. And to think that this is an issue that is not deserving of reaction just demonstrates a lack of appreciation for how serious this is. This goes to the heart of who we are as women, what kind of rights and choices we have. It certainly is as important as any economic issue, because when it's all stripped away, so much of the Republican agenda is to turn the clock back on women. Make no mistake about it, Rachel. You know, they would pretend otherwise, but whether it's economic or health or any of the other positions they take, but this one on choice, on the right to a safe and legal abortion, which you do not have to choose, but under our law and our Constitution, you have a right to do so, for it to be both legal and safe, is under concerted attack by Republicans from Washington across our country. That's one of the, real dangers that women in many states are facing, that their health care decisions are being basically ripped away for partisan political reasons. And Donald Trump is on the real spear point of this assault on women's rights. So, it's a serious matter. The press needs to cover it. The outrage should be forthcoming. And people who believe that women have just as much right to make our most personal decisions as men should be joined together to speak out and call out Donald Trump for not only what he said, but for the Republican Party that largely agrees with him, even if they don't say it exactly as he did.
Madam Secretary, thanks for the time. Thank you.
News here on MSNBC.
How do you ban abortion? How do you actually do it?
Well, you'll go back to a position like they had, where people will perhaps go to illegal places,
yeah,
but you have to ban it. The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
10 cents, 10 years,
I don't know. That I don't know.
After the word spread that Donald Trump had made those remarks today about abortion, that a woman needs to be punished if she seeks an abortion, and an abortion should be banned, you said today that was shameful. What is shameful about it?
Well, I think it is shameful is probably understating that position. First of all, to me, and I think to most Americans, women have the right to control their own bodies, and they have the right to make those personal decisions themselves. But to punish a woman for having an abortion is beyond comprehension. I just, one would say, what is in Donald Trump's mind, except we're tired of saying that. I don't know what world this person lives in. So obviously, from my perspective, and if elected president, I will do everything that I can to allow women to make that choice and have access to clinics all over this country, so that if they choose to have an abortion, they will be able to do so. The idea of punishing a woman, that is just, beyond comprehension.
Mr. Trump is making headlines on this issue today, obviously because of what he said. It's sort of taken the media day by storm. That said, I think there may be a case to be made, and I'd love your response to this, your perspective on this, that his opponent, Senator Ted Cruz, is more extreme on this issue. And I say that in part because one of his national co-chairs on his Pro-Lifers for Cruz coalition is a man named Troy Newman, who once wrote a book saying that abortion providers should be executed. Is Ted Cruz even further out on this issue than Donald Trump is?
Well, you're living in crazy world there. And that is why, the Republican Party, if they continue in this direction, will be, as I mentioned a moment ago, a fringe party. Look, they have nothing to say. All they can appeal is to a small number of people who feel very rabid about a particular issue, whether it's abortion or maybe whether it's gay marriage. That is their constituency. They have nothing of substance. You know, you mentioned a moment ago, Rachel, that the media is paying attention to Donald Trump. Duh, no kidding. Once again, every stupid remark will be broadcast, you know, for the next 5 days. But what is Donald Trump's position on raising the minimum wage? Well, he doesn't think so. What is Donald Trump's position on wages in America? Well, he said in a Republican debate he thinks wages are too high. What's Donald Trump's position on taxes? Well, he wants to give billionaire families like himself hundreds of billions of dollars in tax breaks. What is Donald Trump's position on climate change? Oh, he thinks it's a hoax perpetrated, shock of all shock, by the Chinese. You know, on and on it goes. But because media is what media is today, any stupid, absurd remark made by Donald Trump becomes the story of the week. Maybe, just maybe, we might want to have a serious discussion about the serious issues facing America. Donald Trump will not look quite so interesting in that context.
Are you suggesting, though, that the media shouldn't be focusing on his call to potentially jail women who have abortions, because that's another stupid comment?
I am saying that every day he comes up with another stupid remark, absurd remark. Of course it should be mentioned, but so should Trump's overall position. How much talk can we hear about climate change, Rachel? And Trump? Any?
He said that he cares more about nuclear climate change, which is a term that he's invented.
Nuclear climate change?
That's what he comes up with when he's asked on the subject.
I see. All that I'm saying is that Trump is nobody's fool. He knows how to manipulate the media, and you say an absurd thing and the media is all over it. And my concern is that today in America, you got millions of people who are struggling economically. They want to know how we're going to expand the middle class. Overwhelmingly, people think we should raise the minimum wage. Vast majority of people think climate change is real and a threat to our planet. They want to do something about that. What do? Vast majority of the people think the wealthiest people in this country should start paying their fair share of taxes. But if we don't discuss those issues, it creates the climate for people like Donald Trump to do much better than he really has a right to do.
Senator, you have been a fierce critic of the influence